Hey folks, welcome back to Fat Off the Bone, and today we are making my wife's great grandmother's recipe. She called it Mexican cornbread. This is one of my favorite things in the world to make and eat. I love it. So you're gonna need a half pan or a cast iron pan if you want to use it. When we make it in the house, we use cast iron, but out here on the PK, I'm just gonna use a half pan. And grease the bottom of your pan. Easiest way to do it with some spray. Just good, liberal coating on there like that. And what this recipe is 1 cup and 3 tablespoons of cornmeal mix. Now, if you don't have cornmeal mix, if you're using regular cornmeal, you're going to use a cup of cornmeal, and then the 3 tablespoons will be self-rising flour. So you got that. I just realized that I do not have my bowl to mix all this in. I left it sitting over there on the table. So if y'all hang on just a second. All right, now we have our bowl here so we can actually mix it up. So like I said, 1 cup of regular cornmeal and 3 tablespoons self-rising flour, or 1 cup and 3 tablespoons of the cornmeal mix, which is what we're using today. Then, and this is all mixed together, you have 2 eggs in here, a 1/4 cup of oil, and a cup of either buttermilk or sweet milk. We're using buttermilk. We're going to dump that right in. You got 1 medium onion, chopped up fine, and 2 jalapenos, chopped up fine. You can use as many jalapenos as you want, depending on how hot you like it. So that's going to go right in there. There's the jalapeno. You can see it good on the top, right there. You're going to use a can of cream corn, 1 can, right in there just like that. And you're going to use 1 cup of cheese. I don't put the cheese until after I do a little bit of stirring, just because it's easier to stir without the cheese in it to begin with. So the cream corn makes all the difference in the world in this recipe. When this thing is ready to eat, it is moist and it is good. It's the best cornbread I've ever had, and it was actually Miss Ruth Helms. It was her recipe, and she made it for a lot of years, and my wife has the recipe. And at the end of this, we're actually going to share the recipe so you can have it and use it. So that's stirred up good. So now I add the cheese to this. I'm not convinced you could use more than a cup of cheese. It'd probably just make it gooder, but I'm going to use what the recipe calls for, which is a cup of cheese. Mixed in just like that. And then you're just going to pour it right here in your half pan when you get it all done. There'll be some good in there, so get it all out. Don't want to waste none of that. There you go. Now when we come back, we're going to show you how to place the coals in the PK grill, because you're going to want to do this indirect, and we'll get this on the grill and get it going when we come back. We'll be back in just a minute. Off the bone, where we're making this Mexican cornbread. So we got a chimney full of lump charcoal ready to go. We got our PK grill here. We're going to cook this indirect, which is really easy because all you got to do is just dump the coals in there for an indirect fire. Flip it over. Now, anytime you cook indirect on a PK, whichever side that you have the coals on, you want to leave the vent open under those coals, and the vent directly above those coals you want closed. And then the opposite. So the bottom vent away from the coals you want closed, and the bottom vent, or the top vent away from the coals. So you want one closed and one open, so it creates airflow in there. So you're going to put your cornbread on the opposite end of the grill here. This one's got the thermometer in it, the True-Tel thermometer. I like to put the thermometer away from the coals so you don't get an accurate temperature reading. So we're going to put it on here. It's going to take about an hour. We'll close it up just like this. So you got the top vent right above the food open and the bottom vent right under the food closed. You got the bottom vent open under the fire and the top vent over the fire closed, and it creates an airflow just like this, which is what you want. About an hour from now, we'll have Mexican cornbread. We'll show you what it looks like when it's finished. Thank y'all. Hey folks, welcome back to Fat Off the Bone, and this Mexican cornbread is ready. And I promise you, if you like cornbread, you are absolutely gonna love this. I want you to look how pretty that is. We put that cheese on about the last 10 minutes. It's gonna continue to cook. We're gonna take it off and set it right here. Let it cool for maybe 10 minutes, and it'll keep cooking a little bit while it's cooling. But folks, the recipe will be at the end of the video. Man, make some of this. This was my wife's great-grandmother's recipe. It is wonderful. I promise you'll like it. And you can make it on a Weber charcoal grill. You can make it on a pellet grill. You can make it on a PK grill, gas grill, or in the oven. At home, it'll be good either way. But that is Miss Ruth's Mexican cornbread. Good stuff. That's Fat Off the Bone. Y'all try it. Enjoy it. Recipes coming up.